Welcome, Virgo, to your full moon and your full moon lunar eclipse. We have the sun in Pisces. Pisces is opposite of you, is giving you the light for the full moon. And the full moon is that moment where we reconcile. I have arrived in my opposite sign. When I understand what's going on, integrated my opposite sign as much as I'm able to do it in this round. And then you get another round next year, right? And so you get 6 months of reading to the right. This is your last reading to the right. And then you get 6 months of reading to the left. And the moon being in your sign, it's this direct message coming through the sun in Pisces. Pisces, the moon card, the moon in your sign. You have no escape. You gotta have to look into yourself deeply enough to find the light and to find that what are you made of? What is the soul always letting you know, to find deep within the answers and never rely on the outside world. Be inspired by the outside world, but never rely on it. Rely on what comes as an instinct and as an intuition from deep within you. So here's the 9, and we have the 18 and the 19 to the right, right? And so this is what's happening in the sky and bringing you the full moon and, of course, a full lunar eclipse only visible in the States. Right here in Europe, we are not gonna see that. So this moment, right? And we understand that, of course, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the hanged man. And in the hanged man, we find the liberation through the deep dive into our subconscious. Now, Neptune are your dreams, and so observe your dreams today and tomorrow and the days after, right? You are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury in the tarot is the magician. And here Salvador Dali has placed himself as the magician. And we understand that he is putting himself in a very powerful place, right? And Mercury is your mind, is that part deep within you that thinks, that has those thoughts, and those thoughts are always about, can I manifest? Can I really manifest, right? Now you are, as a Virgo, the Knight of Pentacles is your birthday between August 13 and September 11. Then is this your court card? If not, look in the description. There I have listed all the dates. Understand that when the sun is in Virgo, the dates are different than the court card. So there is a pure Virgo and there is a mix, right? And so observe and watch that. Important that you understand that you walk to the left when you look at the card, but then when you become the card, you walk to the right. So this is Virgo, the alchemist, deep within you, and the 6th zodiac sign is connected with the 6th house of work and routine. You love work and routine. It's part of who you are. You love to go deep. You love to see where is the rhythm, where is the reoccurring sign that is letting you know that you are on the right path. Back to the last reading where we had Aquarius sun giving Virgo moon the light. The message was, thinking and creating diversity is at the core of your success. So that was the reading last time. It's in the front. And so I can look what was the message and what were the cards, and if there is one that is coming back. And there are 2 cards that are coming back. And so we will get to that when we get to those cards, and we can begin the reading. So we begin with the Knight of Pentacles. the first card that came to you is the King of Pentacles. And it's interesting because the King of Pentacles, that's Taurus. And Taurus is the banks, the financial security, the being established in the throne. Meanwhile, you are still working on that. You're still on a horse. And you love the horse, right? But you also somehow would like to be here. So the 6 and the 2 is the 8. Now that's the infinite search for how you can evolve, right? Further evolve and further grow. What is Taurus saying? Now Taurus is bringing you the Knight of Swords, and that's a Gemini. And Gemini comes after Taurus. And you see he is running towards Taurus. It's really interesting. You're here and he's here, and both of you have a white horse, and both of the horses face to the left. And so when we look at from an outer perspective, you begin to do the work within and then can live that work to the without. So the 8 and the third zodiac sign is the 11. There comes a portal. Through these two people, you are challenged to see into the banks, the finances, but also into the way your communication is with the banks and the finances, how you communicate in general. Sometimes maybe you are a little bit pushy, sometimes you are a little bit strong, but the 11 is the inner teacher that is letting you know, just be careful. Always observe yourself, always watch yourself, particularly now around a full moon, right? It's a very sensitive time for you. Now, what is Gemini wanting to tell you? I'm going to put this one down. It's bringing you the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune, that's Jupiter. Jupiter is that part in us that says, I want to go out, I want to have these grandiose thoughts, and I want to bring them out there, and through the bank I can do it, through the money I can do it, right? And so here comes a knight, but here is a king, and the king makes different decisions than a knight. And so you see here that she's standing on the Wheel of Fortune, and she is upright, and she's like, I am on top of the game. Now we had here the 11, and this is the 10. So in a way there are 3 times the 1 and the 0. The 0 is always the Fool. That's Uranus, creating a new crazy endeavor, right? Daring it, standing on top of the game and playing the game. Now what is, of course, this game bringing to you? And I have the Journey. And the Journey, here, you're going to see it in a minute. The Journey is this young girl that is holding here this deer and is playing with the deer, and the deer is facing like this horse and your horse to the left. Now the Journey is go deep within so that you can then in the without live the life that you always dreamt of living. And so this bond between this animal and this child is like the bond between the horse and the knight, and you have that as well. So we have a 10 here, the 19, and here a 10, right, and then the 11. Understand that the 19 is the sun, so the sun is showing you your journey, the journey back to you, right? And now you have gotten out, as far out, and you're in the Wheel of Fortune, and you are realizing what's important and what's not. So just understand that, because what's important here in all of this is that you see the possibility in shifting the way you are seeing this life. Now, the King of Pentacles, right, Taurus, is always the next evolutionary stage for you, because you are the knight, and as a knight you're more reckless. Meanwhile, he is more safe. He's more playing safe because he knows the responsibility. What is coming from the Mother Piece Tarot? We're getting the Sun of Wands facing down. And the Sun of Wands is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And so the Wheel of Fortune is here to tell you, be careful not to be too reckless, because here he's dancing and enjoying himself. He's the 9th zodiac sign, and so the 9 and the 2 is an 11. And the 11 again comes up as a sign that that's your inner teacher talking. What is Sagittarius saying? Sagittarius is bringing you the peacemaker. And it's interesting because now you get the number 5 here, the Hierophant, which is connected with Taurus, right? And so you have Taurus as a court card and Taurus as a spiritual aspect. And together they create a 7, the 2 and the 5, and that's the emotional intelligence that we understand up here in our crown chakra. So the 7 and the 9, that's the 16, and in the 16 it says, well, sometimes these things gotta go, right? This, like, I enjoy myself, and now I'm not so sure if I can really enjoy myself in the way I am living this life, in the way I take action. Maybe things gotta go, right? Because you had last time the Tower, and the Tower brought you the raccoon, and the raccoon is the one with the mask, and you gotta wake up to taking off that mask that you may be wearing for a long time. Now the 7 is left in all of this, right? And the 7, again, the crown chakra is letting you know how to understand that here came Gemini, right? The communication, and that Gemini brought you Jupiter, which rules here Sagittarius, that sometimes this part in you is like playing the luck, playing the lotto, playing the things that it's not what Taurus would do. Taurus would never do something like that, right? And so playing the game, it's great, but sometimes it also then leads to a journey that you're maybe not ready to take. And so observe that. Observe how this is affecting you when I give you this information, right? Take what's really resonating within you, and what doesn't resonate, just leave that aside. Then we look at Mercury, at the Magician. What is the Magician wanting to tell you? And the first card that came is the Arrow. And the arrow is pointing up. You got one arrow, but you got the number 3. And so that one arrow is the Magician that's pointing his consciousness through the third eye directly up, right? The third eye up into where the arrow needs to go. So in a way we have the 3 and the 1, which is a 4, right? There's the stability that you need to do what you need to be doing. Now here we have the 3rd zodiac sign, and the 3, that's a 33. That's mastery in the way you communicate, in the way you focus clearly through Mercury, because Gemini shares with you the Magician, Mercury. So learn through Gemini to communicate in a more subtle way. Now the 1 and the 1 arrow is a 1-1 portal again, right? The inner teacher that says, well, focus, really focus on what it is that you want, and you will get it. Then I want to see what is coming from your deck, and you got the High Priestess. And the High Priestess, she is of course the one that uses the moon phase, and this moon phase is bringing you your intuition, the division between black and white, the contrast, and in there you have to make the decision, right, of what to do next. So the 3 and the 2 is the 5, and the 5 and the 1 is the 6. The 6 is self-love, and you are the 6th zodiac sign. So understand so clearly how important it is to know what number you are, right? The 6 is clear, is self-love, and is the third eye. So you have help right now through the full moon, that you are seeing deep within your part, right? Your scripture, your message, your method, whatever it is, your mission, and bring it out there, because you have here the magician and the high priestess, one of the most powerful couples in the tarot deck. So focus, right? Focus on the Mercury energy, on the magic, on the mind, and you will see the results coming towards you. Now, what is the high priestess bringing you? She's bringing you the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is Jupiter in Pisces. Now, Jupiter came through the Wheel of Fortune, right? And Pisces is here through the full moon. And of course, Sun in Pisces, right? And so you see that the 9 of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces, is telling you, be happy, be content, right? And so the 9 and the 2, again, there is an 11. The 11 portal is very strong in this reading. This is the 3rd time you get a 11. And 3 times the 11, that's 6 ones. And 6 times the 1 is the third eye. Understand the third eye, focus on that, and make the magic happen. And then enjoy what you have here, right? The Lord of material happiness. It's very interesting. It's not the emotional happiness, it's the material happiness that we feel here in this dimension, and we can feel all these feelings and these emotions, but sometimes we gotta focus, right? And so there is a deep, deep happiness coming to you by using your intuition. Then I, of course, want to see what is bringing the Mother Peace Tarot, and you get the Last Judgment, facing down. And facing down, it's kind of like saying, well, you don't trust fully this transformation yet. This is Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius since last year in November, and it's going to be 20 years in Aquarius. So the sword or the arrow is that clear thinking that is necessary to understand the Ankh, to understand the message that all the colors are now coming over the earth and bringing you now a deeper look at what the spiritual path entails. Now, what is, of course, Pluto saying is bringing you the wind horn, being unbound. And being unbound is a beautiful message, right? I'm going to read it to you. But here we have the 35, and there is the 3, Venus, and the 5, the Hierophant, the spiritual teacher. So you have the high priestess and the high priest together, and that's a couple as well, right? And so you will see that the Ankh, or the Last Judgment, is bringing you something very, very important, and I'm just gonna read it to you. So here it says, dichotomies of densely tangled emotions with the remedy implied in the diagnosis. The moon calls to hear a visceral communal howling of human wolves shouting at the elements. The cure for pain is in the pain. Drain it out with an angry ancestral shout. This is the sound of the unbinding. Return the chaos to the draining refrain of order. What's found after the dance of disentanglement? Your cure. Being unbound, right? Being not bound to no one and nothing. And you see the 1, 2, 3, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pointed star. and that's you, the 6-pointed star, right? And the 3 is here, of course, the arrow with the 3. And so the 3 is saying, well, see the 3 lines that creates the 6. The 3 is Venus. The 3 is the triangle that's pointing down, that's bringing you the information, that's bringing you also the feeling of the feminine, and that the feminine is completely different than the masculine. And so here we have the 20 and the 35, that's the 55. Then you have a 5-5 portal plus this 5, 3 times the 5. And 3 times the 5 is here in your solar plexus. You're understanding very clearly that there is something shifting, that there is something that is telling you to let go deeply, because that's what the lunar eclipse is bringing. A deep, deep letting go, going deep down into your roots and seeing why the ankh is pointing down, meanwhile the arrow is pointing up. There's always above and below, to the right and to the left, and then of course the within. So it's a very beautiful way of letting you know that you have here a 5-5 portal, and then here the 3 and the 2 is also a 5, right? So you have actually 4 times the 5, and 4 times the 5 is literally saying, yes, you gotta understand that your heart is guiding you on this journey, and where it's guiding you is to the 9 of Cups, to that happiness, to the completion, to you, right? The 9. Great. Now we're looking at the full moon. What is the full moon wanting to bring you? And the lay of the land, the ancestral wisdom is coming. And this is the number 34. So here we have the 18 that turns into a 9, the 34 becomes a 7, the 3, the Empress, the 4, the Emperor, so the feminine and the masculine uniting to see the lay of the land from high above. So this is you up here, Virgo, up at the mountain, up where you do Tadasana, where you are the one that is knowing here is the message. This is the yoga pose for you, right? Meanwhile, for Pisces, it's fish pose, up dog and downward dog, remember, right? And so here is the full moon, or is it the sun? But the full moon is clear. It's like a very special moment. So the 9 and the 7 is the 16. Something's gotta go for you to get new things, particularly in your subconscious. What is coming from your deck? You have here the 2 of Cups, which is Venus in Cancer. Venus is here, right? And Cancer is the Queen of Cups. Cancer is letting you know that there is a success out there when it's emotionally satisfying. And so the self-love, and you see here how this old man with this big nose is looking again here to the left. But you also see how Eros is coming out of Psyche, right? And so here we have also Lion and the wings, the liberation in love, but love first of all and foremost for yourself. So the 7 and the 2 is a 9. Then you have a 9-9 portal. Really beautiful. Release things that don't work for you anymore, and then you can come into a deeper understanding that here Sagittarius brought you also a 9 as a 9th zodiac sign. So 3 times the 9. Empower yourself through knowing that you are the hermit, that you always have to look deep within and you get the answers there. Then I want to know what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and you get the 6 of Wands upright. And the 6 of Wands is Jupiter in Leo. So again, Jupiter is coming to you, and Jupiter came to you here in Pisces, a happiness. So 9 cups and 2 cups are 11 cups, and again an 11 is coming. Then you have 4 times the 11, and That's 8 times the 1, right? And so you see that the 6 and the 2 is also an 8, and the 6 and the 7 is the 13. There's a transformation that is wanting to come to you. And again, you see the 9 and the 2 as the 11 that is letting you know the inner teacher is constantly around us, within us, and once we connect with it, we cannot deny it anymore, that it really exists, right? And so see the 13, the 4 and the 2 is the 6, right? The 6 and the 9 is the 15. Don't be attached to anything. No land, no relationship, and no victory. Be free from all of it. Find always deep within you the understanding that you are here the hermit, and the hermit needs nothing, just the light and the connection to the field of consciousness deep within yourself, right? And so this is also a really beautiful message right there. The last station, which is the sun in Pisces, right? Bringing you, of course, here Jupiter in Pisces, so Pisces is coming up here. Sun in Pisces is bringing you the sun, the 6. So you see the 6 is coming. You have a 6-6 with your card, right? And you understand that here the 19 and the 6 is the 25. That's the 7. And the 7 is always that moment where we know that our emotional intelligence is always there and that we can grow and learn through it. And you see how the sun is literally bringing you the information that now the sun in Pisces is bringing you the full moon, is bringing you that moment where you can be Apollo, right? The sun god, because the sun is a dwarf star. And so it's like melting. It's like really beautiful. It's like a river. And you see that the sun is bringing you energy, light, and through the subconscious, you understand more and more that, yes, sometimes I gotta let go of what I think this life looks like or should look like, and that a higher consciousness is always guiding you and bringing you exactly what you need. Then I want to know what is, of course, Pisces bringing, right? Sun in Pisces, you get the intensity coming at the sun. And look at that. It's almost like it's saying, here's Sagittarius, right? And you had Sagittarius here. It was reverse. The fun and the dancing and the enjoying, right? Then here comes Sagittarius one more time. The number 9 and the 6 is the 15. Here comes an arrow that is very focused to the left. It's almost saying, yes, the next reading, you go back to your new moon. We're going to the left. We're going to go reading to you. And so learn to accept that, right? That the 15 then turns into a 6, and the 19 and the 6 again is the 25, and there is the 7. The emotional intelligence to understand what's really happening here. You know what's happening here, right? All I can give you is that the 6 and the 9 is the 15. Sometimes we get attached to the empowerment, to the feeling on the top of the game, right? To be the sun. But sometimes we also gotta let go of that, because in the 15 comes that deep attachment of the devil of Capricorn, right? Then I want to know, of course, what is Sagittarius saying here? Here, Sagittarius brought you the peacemaker, the 5, Taurus, right? You have Taurus as a court card, as the king of pentacles, right? And now you're getting the world. And this card came last time as well. So the world is feeling all of this, that something is happening. And what's really happening is that Neptune is going into the sign of Aries. Aries is a fire sign, right? And Aries is the take the action so that the world feels again safe. and the world is the 21. So here the 6 and the 9 is the 15, and here the 21 turns into a 3, we get the 18. And the 18 is the moon, right? The full moon is bringing you the information that you learning to really love everything sometimes this world produces, the good and the bad. It's necessary to understand that in the good lies the bad, and in the bad lies the good. And so, of course, I want to see how you're dancing, right? Because here he is also the dancer. So it's almost like saying, dance again. Dance with the sun. Dance with the cycles, right? And what's coming is the 5 of voices, which is Venus in Aquarius. And Venus brings you here the peace. Make peace with things that you think bad in this world are happening. Certain bad things are happening so that we can learn, so that we know that's not what I want. And sometimes, yes, certain people must go. These souls want to go. And yes, it sounds terrible, but sometimes they even choose how to go. So observe, of course, how that feels, right? Sometimes it's not the time to condemn others, how they fight and how they act, right? Because sometimes people act out of not knowing, out of not understanding. And so you see that the Sun and Sagittarius was with the world the 18. The 18 and the 5 is the 23. Here we have the 5. And the 5 are the 5 senses. Through the 5 senses, you're learning to understand that you need to awaken to the fact that Gemini came to you, which is a sword, which is the communication, and that certain communication brings peace and certain communication doesn't bring peace in this world. And I think you got to look at that as well, right? That the world has this moment, right? So here the 3 and the 5 is the 8. Infinite is the learning cycle that we have. And here we have the 15, that's the 6. The 6 and the 8 is the 14. Remember, 14 is temperance, and temperance is Sagittarius. Temperance is that we learn to combine fire and water. And there comes the electricity, there comes the creativity, there comes the new child, right? And you know that the 14 is connected with Sagittarius, and out of the 14 comes the 5. Comes find peace in the way you think, in the way you communicate, in the way you say things, right? So then I want to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and you get the 2 of discs to the right. And the 2 of discs to the right is literally saying, yes, find harmony in the outer perspective, find harmony in the way you communicate, find harmony in the way you live with this world, right? This is the 2 and the 9. Again, an 11 is appearing, or the 2 and the 6 is the 8. And the 8 with the 10 is the 18. The full moon is bringing you that information. So observe it and accept it, right? But also see the 11 again here, that this intensity, this burning desire, right, to actually come into harmony, to make all this money, to see that this is Jupiter in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the 15, is the attachment to the money, which you could have sometimes, because here the banks came up, right? Taurus is very much the one that is attached to the money as well. So are you, right? Because it's this tangible energy and you can do so much with it. But here, Jupiter in Capricorn, it's kind of like you have to find harmony. The same way she finds harmony here. She knows she's up right now, but soon she will be down here, and you gotta accept that as well, that when the up is up, then you're down, the up follows, and when you're up, the down follows, right? And so the 11 is here, and of course the 6 with the 9 is the 15, and the 6 is left. So you learning that the sun is bringing you a very intense moment through Pisces, through also here Jupiter in Pisces, right? Remember that Jupiter is here in Pisces, Jupiter is here in Leo, and now Jupiter in Capricorn, right? And you have to understand that Jupiter is intense. Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune, and in the Wheel of Fortune we have nothing that's ever fixed. Everything comes and goes, right? We don't know how today will be and tomorrow, and we never know how this dance goes in the world, and that sometimes we gotta make peace with all of it, right? And in that peace we have to learn to see the interaction, right? And remember, you had here the 2 of Cups and the 9 of Cups. It's clear, right? There is a desire to be loved and a desire to give love here, and in there comes the teacher, a big teacher, and that teacher knows that the 2 and this 2 is the 22. That's Uranus, that's the revolution, intuitive knowing that you love yourself and you don't need to wait for no one, and that you love yourself so deeply and so honestly, right, that you know that here is also a 2, so 3 times the 2, right? It's like 4 times the 2 here with the 2 of Pentacles, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times the 2, and in that 4 times the 2, you understand the heart, understands those things clearly, right? Because the 10-10 portal here is also letting you know you are awakening to your journey, and that journey is to go within, to communicate within, and infinite is that unbound being within you to shift and to connect and to love yourself completely and unconditionally. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get the sun in Aries. Aries are the wands. We have only Jupiter in Leo. We have the 6 of wands. We have the victory, right? Sometimes you feel like you're victorious, right? And in that victoriousness, you gotta also awaken that here is the 6-6 portal, right? So the 6 is clearly bringing you an understanding that you gotta love yourself, otherwise no one else can do it for you, right? And so I wish you a beautiful full moon celebration, and enjoy the dance, right? Enjoy the dance in the whole world. The same dance here Sagittarius is dancing. Dance, right? Because here the 21 and the 9 is the 30, and the 30 is always Venus, and Venus, right, in Cancer came, and Venus is self-love. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.